Hey, what's up? It's Charlie, aka Domestic Rockstar. This past weekend, I went to NAMM, which I talked about last year. We had a blast last year. Saw a lot of cool stuff. This year was a little meh. There was a lot of the exhibitors that weren't there, like Fender, Schecter didn't have a real booth. They were only dealing with buyers, and Gibson wasn't there. But for the most part, a lot of the bigger vendors seem to have a smaller booth. Now, we're members of NAMM, my husband and I, because we have a business where we restore vintage drums and resell them, and we also do custom drum wraps. So we've been a member of NAMM for about 3 years now, and we pay dues every year. We go there so we can build relationships with some of the brands, so we could possibly buy and then resell. Over the last few years, it's gotten really bogged down with fans and people seeking autographs. Even some of the artists that we normally see there weren't there this year. One of the questions that I get as soon as I get back is like, what kind of cool stuff did you see? This year I saw a really cool drum thing from Yamaha, which is called the Electronic Acoustic Drums, and it basically is a recording device. You need to have a motherboard and the whole setup that they have, but it's super rad, and I will put a link in the description to a really cool video, which is from the guy that we saw demoing it. But it's really cool for bands that, you know, write differently. We tend to write where our guitar player will send the music to the rest of us, and then we write our parts to it. But this will be really helpful for my drummer to write to it, and it'll also give him the click automatically whenever a file is sent to him. So that was pretty rad. But I'm not a drummer, so I think it's rad. It looked really cool. But like, most of all, the stuff there is not really for me because I'm not a singer who plays an instrument. I basically just use my voice, and I'm pretty old school when it comes to a lot of my gear. Matter of fact, I've had the same PA setup for, about 17 years. Yeah, wow, do I feel old. But it's older than, yeah. Anyway, it's worked. I haven't had to replace anything but my microphones, and the microphones I've gotten a lot pickier now that I have more experience. But back in the day, it was just like whatever I could scream into that could take a beating. But NAMM really doesn't have a whole lot for my tastes, I guess. Still, the coolest thing I ever saw there was the Shuriken Variax from line 6, which is from Stevic of 12 Foot Ninja. He demoed it last year. It was freaking rad. But overall, NAMM's fun. My husband really likes it a lot more than I do. I don't like wasting money to walk around for 8 hours looking at stuff we've already seen before, but I do like hanging out with my friends that I get to see there. And I got to go to Dime Bash on Thursday night, which was one of the highlights. Dime Bash is for Dimebag Darrell, and all of the money from the show goes to the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Against Cancer Foundation, which is pretty rad. Unfortunately, Brian, my husband, got really like fatigued and his body just shut down on him, so he only got to stay for a couple of songs, and then he just went out in the car and slept, which totally sucked because he missed one of the best shows ever. Power Flow opened up. They're a really rad band with Sin Dog from Cypress Hill on vocals, and the guitar player formerly of Biohazard, bass player formerly of Fear Factory, and I can't remember where the drummer's from, but they were amazing. They were really great. Throughout the night, there's different all-star mashups that get together and do different songs, some covers, a lot of Pantera songs. It was really rad. There was a few really good highlights. John 5 did a really cool melody like mashup of a bunch of different songs that I think were Dimebag's favorites, but he killed it. He was one of the best. And then Jonathan Davis came up and sang Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, which was pretty rad. But a lot of the other musicians that were there from some of the other cover bands could have been better. But for the most part, I mean, it was cool that everyone was there donating time to play music with friends and have fun. And it was a great venue, the Observatory in Santa Ana. Pretty cool place. I would love to go up there and sing some Pantera and show some of those people that were reading lyrics off of a sheet how you memorize shit. But I'm not talking smack, just it would be fun to do that. I would love to get up there and play with some pretty cool musicians. But that was one of the highlights. The other highlight of the trip was on the way home from NAMM. We stopped at these outlet stores and I found a Converse outlet that I got 2 pairs of Converse for like 30 bucks. They're amazing. I love them. I posted some pictures on my Instagram. Other update, I'm on day 2 of my new weirdo diet and so far so good. The only really negative that I've had is cutting out cheese and coffee, which is pretty hard for me, but we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that I actually lose the weight and get the health issues in order, so I'm working hard towards that. But anybody who knows me knows that I'm freaking determined. I don't give up, and when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. So hopefully it works out. We'll see. I do have to take a ton of supplements, which is weird, like 27 in the morning and then like 27 at night. But then throughout the course of the 35 days of the program, it like slims down and you take different ones at different times. But anyway, so far so good. I post some of my updates on Instagram, so if you follow me there, you can see it. Maybe next year I'll just go to Dime Bash because that was the highlight, and then I won't have to go to NAMM, but we're trying to travel next year, so we'll see. We might have to save up some dough. Thanks for watching, and follow me on Instagram if you want updates on my weird, crazy diet. If not, whatever. Later.